With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
The Black Hole's been waiting all year for this one. It's the Battle of the Bay, and we're underway from Oakland. It's a very short kick taken by an up man. And they're going to have really good starting field position here as that's taken up close to the 40. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. The first carry for the former Nittany Lion. This is Saquon Barkley. He'll wind up getting a yard on the game's first play. It's 2nd down.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
And that one blown up quickly, as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. And this opening drive not going to plan. This is now 3rd and 13. Now Manning. Man open, it's Moss complete. And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. A well-executed 22-yard gain. It's Barkley on the counter. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
On 2nd down, here's Barkley. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. 13 yards there and a Niner first. Relatively small sample size, but that's his longest run of the first quarter. Bounced it out to the outside to make it successful.
And to get there, you actually need some help. It's not just your pure speed getting to the corner, making sure that the blocking is taken care of inside so the pursuit doesn't get you. And oftentimes, those wide receivers, tight ends that might be flexed out, they've got to control the edge and make sure no one from the outside can spill the play before he gets there.
Our game not even 2 minutes old, but a quick red zone opportunity. It's 1st and 10 from the 12. Now a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete. 6-time Pro Bowler Randy Moss, the intended receiver. And that'll bring up 2nd down. The toss out to Barkley. And they'll lose yardage here. They go backwards to the 13-yard line. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know. You know better than I. He has the ability to take over a game, so what do you do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, there's nothing but room to run. A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
The kick by Bryant is good. Well, after marching down the field, only getting 3 there, kind of feels like a win for the defense.
And it does. They'll go to the sideline feeling a lot better that they didn't give up a touchdown after the march against them. But if I were the offense, I wouldn't hang my head over that one. That's a good drive, and 3 points were put on the board.
Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line.
Switch it, come on, switch it.
Now Carr, nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Anthony Barr comes rumbling in for the sack. That's called setting the tone right away.
It certainly is, and it lets you know just how important communication is amongst the offensive line. They talk about it all the time, knowing each other's moves. You've got to be coordinated and in sync. Otherwise, your quarterback gets hit. But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
185, 637. We got three, Bravo.
Throwing his car on third down. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by an American hero, Pat Tillman. Darren Waller, the intended receiver. Well, certainly not how he wanted to start his night. First throw of the game, an INT.
Yeah, it's not easy, but he's got to try and wipe that one away from the memory banks. And let's face it, it's not often a quarterback and a defensive back have a lot in common. But one thing, because they have these individual type plays, they've got to have short memories, don't they? DB gets beat, wipe it away, quarterback throws a pick, has to do the same thing.
Faking the give to Barkley, now Manning. He lets this one fly toward the back of the... And it's complete. In the end zone, touchdown 49ers. Randy Moss, 42 yards. And the Niners are able to stretch their lead. Bryant tacks on the extra point, and the lead grows to 10-0. And after the touchdown, here's Bryant now to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. The Raider offense set to get this drive started. They'll look to get something started. They need to, down 10-0 early as they've got it 1st and 10. They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. Defenders giving chase, but I don't think they're going to get there. He's at the 30. A big play that time out of Chubb. 66 yards. Nothing fancy there. A little smash mouth football right up the gut on the dive, and it turns into a huge play.
You talk about the fastest way to the secondary. Right up the gut as you described and sprinted into the secondary for a long, long run.
And he's able to get this inside the 10 now to the 9. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3. On second down, it's Jacobs. And he's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of this first quarter. 10-0 the score after 1 on EA Sports.
180. 180. We're good. We're good. 180. 618. Express.
Mike 50. Mike 50.
280.
Carr to throw on 3rd and 1. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender is making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. This game back within a touchdown now as the kickoff's away. That's fielded in the end zone. They'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line.
Let's go.
The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. On second down now, it's Jackson. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. It'll go as a first down for San Francisco on a pickup of 16. Couple of very nice carries to start this drive out.
Yeah, 2 first downs. And how about that second one? What a nice run on that particular play. I'm telling you, they're going to start to think that this game is easy if they continue to rip off yardage like this.
First down, San Francisco. The pickup, 14 yards. So here's a 1st and 10 now in Raider territory at the 39-yard line. Manning. He'll take a shot for the end zone. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. They're going for a receiver there. Already has one touchdown in this first half. A second one not to be.
I like where their headspace is, though. I mean, I really like the thought process, right? You got a guy who's already scored one, right? You want to go back to him, continue the hot hand, and make them adjust to you defensively. I like what they were trying to get done, even though they weren't successful.
45. Mike, 45.
Back to the air on second down. It's Manning. And that'll be incomplete. Maybe a little over-anxious in the pocket there. He just didn't look comfortable on that throw.
No, he didn't, because it wasn't his normal fluid delivery. And I think you might have had it right. Wasn't really confident with what he saw downfield and almost felt like he wanted to pull that one back.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Working from the gun, Manning. And he fires one that's intercepted. It's Eric Harris who picks it. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. CD, while we have a quick second here, I want to give a shout-out to 3 teams who have struggled mightily this year, who all got wins in Week 12. The Dolphins, the Redskins, and for their first win of the season, the Bengals.
How about you? I love your empathy, right? You hate to see teams struggle like this. Hate to see teams that are down. And when they get wins, you come with a little bounce, don't you? You got a little extra spring in your step. Those Bengals, and they beat the Jets, who at the time were hot, right? They won 3 in a row. How about Washington? That win over Carolina, and then, of course, the Dolphins. No one really saw that coming. Their win over Philadelphia, even though it was at home. Could those wins for those teams be the death knell for the teams that lost? The Jets, we're not going to talk about them anymore. Carolina, they still thought maybe a late run could put them in the playoff race in the NFC South. And then how about Philadelphia? But they're not out of it.
No.
They still control their destiny. If they win out, they go 9-7 and win the NFC East.
Yeah, because they're just one game back of 6-6 Dallas. Our score 10-3 with 2 minutes remaining in quarter number 2. A reminder, coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will join us from Orlando with our halftime report. But business to take care of before we get there.
A 2-minute drill before the coach's 2-minute drill.
Carr now on first down. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. To throw again. Carr, and he gets it to his running back, Nick Chubb. And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45.
I think the best offenses love to get the ball to their running backs in open space because they have the ability to make people miss, and they also have the ability to run over people. And if you do that throughout the game,
he rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Pat Tillman. And the return stops just a few yards shy of midfield. They'll spot the ball at the 47-yard line. CD, with that incompletion, let's look at some of the big games Week 13. So these are ones that our crew probably think of the biggest 4. Let's rank them 1 to 4 as far as how big they are and what they mean. Baltimore at Buffalo, San Fran at New Orleans, KC at New England, Seattle at the Rams. How would you rank those? What do you think?
Well, this is going to sound self-serving since I'm working San Francisco and New Orleans, but to me that's the number 1 game because the number 1 seed in the NFC will be determined that week for that moment. Okay, the winner of that becomes the number 1 seed. I think the number 2 game, Seattle at the Rams, because Seattle's trying to maintain pace with San Francisco or become the number 1 team in the NFC West, and the Rams have to have it if they have any designs of making the playoffs. The number 3 game, Baltimore at Buffalo. Buffalo's announced its presence, that big win on Thanksgiving Day over Dallas, but Baltimore's the hottest team, the best team in the league over the last 8 weeks. And then you finish up Kansas City, New England. How is that the number 4?
And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, San Francisco. Saquon Barkley taking it in. And the Niners are able to stretch their lead. Bryant's extra point up and good. And the lead is now 17-3. Yeah, after the touchdown, here's Bryant now to kick it away. This fielded at the 2. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The Oakland offense about ready to start this next drive. And you're under a minute to go in the half, a first half that hasn't been particularly kind to you. How do you think they'll play this?
Well, I think the smart approach is to run out the clock, lick your wounds at the half, and see if you can come up with a strategy to play better in the second. But there's also something to challenging your offense right here. You know, hey, guys, you help dig.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Anthony Barr, his second sack of the night. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Here's Carr. And for the third time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by Ryan Shazier. And he'll actually lose 6 yards on the return, but I don't think they care. They've got the football back. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Now Saquon Barkley. And a nice move will yield nothing as he's stopped behind the line. The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in this first half of action.
Hey, dude.
Mike, 45. Yeah. You don't want none.
They fake the handoff. Now Manning. He'll let this go for the end zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Patrick Surtain. The Raider offense set to get this drive started. Time here for likely a couple plays if they want it, but with the field position what it is, maybe better suited to just sit on this one. Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Trying to get one more in here before the quarter breaks.
52's the mic. Hey, high 7.
The final shot here before half for Carr. Eluding the pressure right. Looking downfield for Godwin. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down. All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This will be taken in at the 1. And some good coverage there by the kick team as they'll bring him down at the 16-yard line. The Oakland offense about ready to start this next drive. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that...
And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Adrian Amos with a pick. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line. First possession of the 3rd quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the...
With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
Here's the longtime Bronco, Jason Elam, to get us started. And we are underway from Santa Clara. That's fielded in the end zone.
Well, conventional football 101, tells us if you don't get it back to the 20-yard line on a kickoff return, that's a disappointment. But some of these teams, special teams coaches, with approval by the head coach, they give them full authority to go ahead and bring it out and try to be aggressive, almost what we call the green light, red light theory. Green light means go, red light means stop. Looks like he had green on that play.
On first down, a running play ends up going backwards as he won't get close to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he's going to lose 4 yards. Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. Barkley. And some space here. And they work this well upfield across the 45. It's a gain of 35.
Well, when you're able to break a run against a cover 2 or a 2-deep zone, safeties are back a little ways. What you're counting on is the guys taking care of business up front and then maybe climbing to the second level, that offensive lineman or tight end getting up to the second level and able to block the safety in order to create a big run.
And making those linemen work with a couple blocks. They look good doing it there. And he fires one that's intercepted. Brian Dawkins, the safety, with a pick. Certainly not how they envisioned ending their opening drive here in the first quarter.
Too many ones in this play. First quarter, first drive, first interception thrown.
And that last one, that hurts. A first down run, good for about 3. 2nd and 7 coming up. The 49er great Patrick Willis in on the tackle. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Running right, here's Sanders. And he will take this up to about the 8-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup. That's going to set up an interesting 3rd and about 4 to go.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
They've now produced 3-yard gains on 3 straight plays. Leads us to 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go and make the tackle right away.
They'll run now with Okoye. And he is going to have the first down as he's up to his own 13-yard line. A big roll of the dice on 4th and 1, but it pays off. They convert. Throwing on first down is Manning. That's complete to Sharp. And now a fumble. The ball's out. And now this is scooped up by the 49ers. And they'll have a short field to work with inside the 15 at the 13-yard line.
Set, ready? 60 Pittsburgh.
I got one. Shit.
So the fumble recovery, and now Manning. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you'd better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks with those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Saquon Barkley running right. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with 3rd and still 7 yards to go.
It's 3rd and 7. Let's go. 10 Lobo.
Check. Watch 54. Stop your whining.
Stay Griffin.
Manning now to throw. To the goal line, but it's incomplete. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning, hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces fourth down. So they recovered the fumble, but ultimately could not take advantage of the short field.
Definitely a lost opportunity right there. I mean, they were in prime position to put 6 on the board, ended up settling for 3.
And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And all the way home for a Broncos score. That kick return TD is 98 yards in length. And the Broncos have taken the lead. Extra point by Elam, up and good. And that makes it a 7-3 lead. So let's try this again. After the kick return TD, here's yet another kickoff. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he probably should have stayed in the end zone as he'll muster a return up to only the 14-yard line.
Well, conventional football 101 tells us if you don't get it back to the 20-yard line on a kickoff return, that's a disappointment. But some of these teams, special teams coaches, with approval by the head coach, they give them full authority to go ahead and bring it out and try to be aggressive. Almost what we call the green light, red light theory. Green light means go, red light means stop. Looks like he had green on that play.
A minimal gain as we tick down inside of a minute remaining in the opening quarter. On second down, Barkley, and he's taken down. It's a gain of 3 from the 17 to the 20.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
And he locates Walker, complete. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. He missed on his first 3 passes, was 0 for 3. Now gets a connection. Maybe that'll get him going.
Yeah, it wasn't a time for panic, but there was some concern because once you start in a certain pattern, you're wondering, can you get out of it? And that flips the other way, too, when you're throwing it really well. In this case, now he's got his first completion. They think he might be off to the races.
That'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 14. After 1, 7-3 the score on EA Sports.
8, read. 54 Mike. Coming to you? Yeah. Hey, orbit. 54 Mike. 54 Mike. Check. Watch.
Throwing on 2nd and 14. Manning. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Throwing is Manning. That is caught by Cohen. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A good pickup there, 21 yards.
And I know you can't really see it, but that play spells frustration with a capital F for the guys on defense. They covered everyone else, end up going to the running back out of the backfield, and he picks up a back-breaking 1st down.
Good running from Barkley there on 1st down as he'll get forward for about 6 yards. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. 6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. On play action. Now Manning. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The sack there by Bradley Chubb. This offense 2 for 2 on 3rd downs on this drive. They're in for a tough test here, though. 3rd and long. And he's going to go down again. Bradley Chubb able to drop him that time for his 2nd sack of the evening.
We've watched this a long time, and I still don't believe we get it. 3rd and long, why are you calling play action?
Yeah, because they're not going to bite defensively, right?
No, not at all. I did have a coach explain to me years ago that for some teams, that's how they have to deal with pass protection and their line blocking.
Now the defense loses him. It's complete. Touchdown, 49ers. In for the score. And once again, the 49ers are back out in front. That certainly went against the traditional ways of playing football, but who cares? Look at the result. Big touchdown.
They went for it on their own side of the 50. So there's conservative, there's aggressive, and there's really aggressive, which is what we just saw there. Tip of the cap to them.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And they had the fumble last time that led to a touchdown. That's a no-no. We'll see what they do here this go-around. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Anthony Barr, he's the culprit, dropping him for a 2-yard loss.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. It's a gain of 34. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, 10-7, our score. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. Here's Portis. That's good for 21 yards and a first down. He came right off the bench. That's his first carry of the game, and he left an indelible mark on the game.
Did not just bring fresh legs off the bench. He brought a fierce mind as well. He had a lot to prove, didn't he? He thinks he's as good as the guy who's the starter. Wanted to prove it, and boy, did he on that play.
That sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to second down.
Let's go, 50, plant, hey, Alpha.
Don't get nervous. Never mind, 52, right 52.
On 2nd and 12, Manning, he's got his man Sharp complete. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Denver score. As his guys are in for 6. And the Broncos have once again taken the lead. Extra point by Elam, up and good. And the lead is now 14-10. Following the touchdown, here's Elam to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told, as he's taken down back shy of the 20. The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. And looking at this situation, Charles, you got more than a minute. You've got all 3 timeouts. Probably no need to play this safe.
So what you're saying is that we're doing a little bit of a mind meld here, aren't we? Because I'm thinking...
And the Broncos get there and take him down. Darnell Dockett breaking through to get him to the ground. It's a loss of 7. After the sack on first down, Manning, man open. That's Terrell Owens. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. A first down there on a pickup of 25.
That's good for a 49er first down. Ready.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Let's get it together, defense. Let's get it. Let's go.
Now it's Barkley. And he's got some space here. That's now a pair of explosive plays in succession, both north of 20 yards. Well, he's broken off some big-time runs here in this first half.
Yeah, and let's just face it. When you go into a game, you think you've got the plays that are going to work, but when you actually get out there and they're starting to happen, your confidence rises, and he's running with terrific ability right now.
Another good gain. That's now 35 yards combined on those last two plays.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before that he always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game.
Back of the end zone. Could he get his feet down? No, it's incomplete.
Those throwing windows get a lot tighter near the end zone, don't they? And here's the thing. You already probably have 3 points in your hip pocket. You force a throw here and give up an interception, you come away with nothing.
Especially tough in the middle third of the field where he threw that one. To throw, it's Manning. The screen pass here to Cohen. Forget the run on 3rd and 1. They shock the D and rip off a pretty big play.
Let's give a little credit there. The offensive play caller sensed that the screen pass was available. Whenever you're getting a lot of heavy pressure towards your quarterback, that's when you're thinking about running the screen and using that pressure against the defense. And it worked very well there for a first down.
Now here's a pass on 1st down that's knocked away and incomplete. Randy Moss, the intended receiver, but it'll be 2nd and goal. Another shot from the 9 on 2nd and goal.
Watch 54. Let's go. Shoot. Switch.
They'll run with Barkley. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A 9-yard touchdown run as his guys are able to regain the lead.
And while that touchdown does not give them an insurmountable lead, it's still a lead, and that always feels good to a team.
They'd love to take that into the lockers, but a little time left on that clock, so some work to do.
I like that. I like how you're guarding against a letdown there.
Already looking forward.
Coaching them up from right up here in the booth.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line.
Here we go.
Broncos take over 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line. Down.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. We're under 20 seconds to go in the half. I'm guessing the wise play here is be safe.
That is the wise play, because if you think about trying to fool them here, here's what you're facing. You're facing a loosened-up secondary, playing a lot deeper than normal. So even if you run some type of misdirection, you're only going to fool them for a second or so. And guess what? They're so deep, they're really not going to be out of position. Take the knee, get to the locker room.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. And he'll just keep 2 hands on the football as he'll be taken down after a short pickup. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime.
Go. 10-2 stop.
Hey. You got 3.
Manning going to try and throw on 3rd down. And going deep and that's caught inside the 35. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. It'll come from the right hash. It's a 47-yard attempt. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. And that will do it for this first half. So 2 quarters down, 2 remain. Charles and I return after the break. All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. And ready to get the party started for the second half. It was an even first half, all tied on the scoreboard. This is fielded at the goal line. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. First half showed us some pretty good offense. Tie game, we'll see what the second half brings.
And it'll be interesting because I think both sides feel pretty good about what their offenses are doing. Got to wonder what adjustments are being made defensively to try and get a spark and maybe slow down the other side.
But here, do you change up anything on this opening drive?
Not offensively, you don't. You got everything going your way. You're probably prepared for maybe some change-ups you might expect, but overall, you like what your game plan's showing you.
It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down. From the gun on 3rd down, Manning, and he finds his target. It's Sharp. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. Got what they needed there. The drive continues with a 9-yard pickup. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Shotgun now for Manning. It's caught by Sanders. And I think the ball's out, but this will fortunately wind up out of bounds.
I don't know about you, but I could hear and feel the sigh of relief all the way up here in our booth.
That was palpable. The sideline, the friend there.
No doubt about it. Ball goes over the sideline, able to retain possession, no turnover. I know his coaches are screaming, just hang on to the ball, man.
And they'll get this just to the 47, 1-yard gain. The linebacker Ryan Shazier there to make the tackle. Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. Throwing now is Manning. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by an American hero, Pat Tillman. The 20. And into the end zone. A pick 6 for the 49er D as they score the touchdown. Ah, yes, the old tip drill works to perfection there.
You're bringing back great memories. Used to love that drill. And a lot of times in practice, you work on it, not just one tip, but multiple tips, just in case the ball stays in the air for a while, to have an awareness and the ability to go up and grab it, and then you want to get some blocking support and end up in the opposite end zone.
In that tip drill, what do you yell?
For us, it was Oski. Okay, Oski was an interception.
For different teams.
Different teams have different ways of doing it. I've heard bingo, jackpot. The worst I ever heard, though, was Frankenstein. You don't want it to be a
too many syllables. Yeah.
You want to get it right down and go. Oski is really the preferred word.
Oski. It'll be Sanders to begin the drive. And they're able to swarm him behind the line, and his rough night continues. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Now 3rd down is looming, a pickup of 2 on 1st down and just 1 yard there.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secured before they slide off and try and chip someone at the 2nd level. Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show him one thing, hit him with something else.
And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
70,
Manning now on 1st down. They get just 2 out of it there, and it's 2nd down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. He already has 2 sacks to his credit. Now another tackle for loss.
And you know how you can always identify who was supposed to block him? They're the ones helping up the person who just got knocked to the ground with the ball, right? Whether it's a running play or a pass play, they've got to figure out a way to slow him down. Maybe you chip him with a 2nd guy. Maybe you just out and out double him. Maybe you make sure you take the ball and throw it as far away from him as possible, because right now he is wrecking things for them.
The punt team on now as this one's sent away. It'll be a net of 40 yards following a punt of 44. And it'll be 1st and 10 Broncos from deep in their own territory. The Broncos onto the field ready to start their next drive. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive. A battle for it, and it's intercepted. Adrian Amos with a pick. And they take over already 5 yards deep into the red zone at the 15-yard line.
We go. 60 on.
At the 15-yard line. It's south, baby. That's baby south.
Go. Move. Get it.
They run on 1st down with Jackson. And able to surge forward for about 5 yards down to the 10.
An opportunity to get a drive started here at the end of the 3rd quarter. What you're trying to do is break the game down a little bit. Don't let your guys see too deep into the game, into the future, and say, oh, we got to get here. No, right here, right in front of them, melt the clock down, get to the 4th quarter, try and keep going.
And try to keep that lead.
Exactly.
And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield.
Every time I watch LT blow up plays just like that one, I think of one quote. You can run, but you can't hide.
He won a record 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards back in his day. He was also the league MVP in 1986.
One of 2.
He'll be hit and taken down at the 21. Aaron Donald with a sack.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
So his 2nd field goal of the game, and that could turn out to be the big one.
Yeah, you have to make them score twice to beat you, and that's not impossible. But here in the 4th quarter, puts their backs clearly against the wall.
Fielded about a yard deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Broncos onto the field ready to start their next drive. And last time wasn't pretty. One play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens. It's a loss of 4 on the 1st down play. So they had the big loss on that 1st down pass play and facing a 2nd and long. Call it an 8-yard pickup, and it'll be 3rd down.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run.
And Manning intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by the Hall of Famer Night Train Lane. And the possession is theirs at their own 43-yard line.
Partner, we always talk about possessions being at a premium in these games. And now in this situation, throwing an interception here when you have to claw your way back in, that one's going to hurt, and in a big way.
They'll start here with Jackson. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down. Got to figure now, after getting that turnover, they're just going to be happy to keep the ball on the ground, right?
This is where covering the football, taking care of the ball, all the ball security terms that have ever been used, they come into play for the guys on offense right now. Just take care of it, and they've got a good chance of ending up winning this game.
Pushing forward for 3 up to the 48.
And this is an absolutely big 3rd down that's been set up here, partner, and there's no other way to put it. The defense has to get a stop here if they have any hopes of winning this game.
Has to. You said big 3rd down. I'd put the word big in capital letters here. The Niners on 3rd down. 3 for 7 so far in this game. This is 3rd and 4. They'll run it again with Barkley. And he's got the 1st down before being taken down at the 46.
Let's go!